All right, week 1 is in the books, so let's talk about some wide receivers that you should consider picking up in your fantasy football league. First one is Julio Jones. Now, while Julio was probably drafted in the late rounds of your league, go check and see if he wasn't. Although he was only on the field for 52% of the snaps, that's still more than Russell Gage, who is still limited by the hamstring injury that kept him sidelined for the entire preseason. With his 52% snap share, Julio saw 5 targets and 2 rushing attempts that totaled 86 yards. Now, Tampa Bay is going to be an extremely efficient offense, and with Godwin now dealing with a hamstring injury himself, Julio should be a solid wide receiver play while he's out. Next up, we have Robby Anderson, who's a great add this week after he played 100% of the snaps and led the Panthers with 8 targets. A lot of his production this week came from a 75-yard TD, but the snap count and target share are promising signs. So go pick him up. Next, we have Curtis Samuel, who Ron Rivera finally put to use. He saw 71% of the snaps and 11 targets. And while Samuel actually saw less snaps than rookie wideout Jahan Dotson, he got significantly more targets. If the Commanders continue to be pass-heavy, Samuel could have some value this year. With 81% of his team snaps and 9 targets, Zay Jones looks to be the wide receiver 2 for the Jags over Marvin Jones. And if Trevor Lawrence can put together a solid campaign, there might be some season-long value here, so he's worth the pickup in some leagues. After that, we have DJ Chark, who had a solid 81% snap share and also saw 8 targets. Until Jameson Williams is healthy, Chark is a solid depth wide receiver in deeper formats. We're still waiting to hear news on whether Keenan's injury is serious or not, but if he's out long-term, Josh Palmer's a great add. Some people are going to tell you to go with DeAndre Carter. Ignore them. Palmer saw 75% of the snaps, while Carter only saw 37%. Roll with Palmer. Next, we have Kyle Phillips. And admittedly, this might be me overreacting to week 1, and it's a cardinal rule of fantasy. Don't overreact to week 1. But in deep formats, I'm kind of liking Kyle Phillips as a speculative add. Robert Woods and Nick Westbrook-Akeen outsnapped him, and there's still the presence of Treylon Burks long-term, but Phillips is a rookie who in his first game led the Titans in targets. Expect Woods to show out more in week 2, but Phillips could leapfrog Westbrook-Akeen as the wide receiver 2 in this offense. Only add him in deep leagues to see if his snap count improves and if he maintains a decent target share. Lastly, we have Devin Duvernay, who had great fantasy production week 1, but likely shouldn't be added in your league. Duvernay is the exact opposite of Kyle Phillips. He only saw 52% of the snaps and ran only 18 routes, with his 4 targets going for 4 receptions and 2 TDs. Leave him on the waiver wire in all but the deepest of leagues. Hopefully those waiver wire targets helped you guys out, and good luck this week in fantasy.